パレスチナを代表する弁護士なんですけれども、ガザを本拠地とする人権団体パレスチナ人権センターの代表なんです。イスラエルに捕らえられた政治犯の待遇や拷問、虐待問題などに取り組んだためイスラエル軍に捕らえられ、自身も拷問を受けました。またパレスチナ自治政府の人権侵害にも鋭い批判を加えたため、やはり逮捕された経験があります。しかしそれにも屈せず、ガザに人権問題を専門に扱う人権センターを設立。世界各国の人権賞を受賞している国際的にも有名な人権活動家でもあるんです。
So first of all, tell us about their situation of in Gaza now.
Gaza Strip is 365 square kilometers, living in it 1.7 million people. Now for the fourth year, it's closed, sealed and sieged. No movement for goods or individuals. We do have, as a result of that, 68% unpaid or unemployed, 90% under poverty line. Of course, the war of December 2008, January 2009, which in the eye of the storm were the civilians, and almost 1,400 civilians has been killed. And tens of thousands of houses has been completely or partially destroyed. Thousands have been injured. Still, I mean, the remains of all that, I mean, very evident in Gaza. And I can say yet, nothing has it changed. Still the movement of individuals and goods restricted, not allowed. So we are disconnected with the outside world. And the smell of the war and its result, the smell of the death coming out of the streets of Gaza. So we do have, because of this war, because of this criminal siege, which both Israel inflicted as an occupying power, having human-made disaster, first-class human-made disaster, and Gaza still like animal farm, the international community dumping to it some food and medicine.
So, I mean, you're a lawyer. So, I mean, in terms of international law, I mean, siege is legal or illegal, or tell us about tell us about siege from international law perspective.
Right now, all the human rights organizations, without any exception, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, International Commission of Jurists, or International Federation for Human Rights, Euromed Human Rights Network, even all Israeli human rights organizations, all the states, including United States, the Quartet, and the European Union, calling for putting an end, I mean, for this criminal siege. Of course, I mean, in the eye of the storm, and the target are the civilians. It's not Hamas, and those who are paying and paying heavily. The civilians, I mean, the students, the sick people, those who have cancer treatment, business community, farmers. So the siege is, by all standards and meanings, it's criminal and should have an end.
Right. It's a collective punishment, which is illegal under international law. It's really obvious, right? So why the government of Israel doesn't respond to the international call to open Gaza?
That's why Article 1 of the 4 Geneva Convention, in a clear-cut way, suggested protection of civilians at the time of war, not at the time of peace. And that's why Article 1 states in a clear-cut way that the high contracting party should respect and ensure respect of the de jure applicability of the 4 Geneva Convention. And that's why international community obliged to force Israel legally to be abide by international law, international humanitarian law, and should stop harassing, sanctioning civilians. Civilians should be out of the war. That's the philosophy of the international law and the international humanitarian law. But very unfortunately, Israel using Hamas as an excuse to punish civilians in the Gaza Strip as well in the West Bank.
So you're representing an NGO called Palestine Center for Human Rights, based in Gaza and West Bank. So, I mean, tell us about your organization and what you're doing for the Palestinian people.
We simply believe in simple philosophy, which is rule of law. We believe in international humanitarian law, and We are there doing real day-to-day work. The center consists of 53 staff members, and we have different units. We have field work unit, collecting information from the field. We don't wait victims till they come to us. Legal unit to provide legal aid, legal advice, interventions for victims. We also have democratic development unit, totally focusing on democracy within PA and its institutions. We have a training unit using the potential and expertise of the center, expert lawyers or researchers in training for human rights. We also have a social, economical, cultural rights unit focusing and educating regarding social, economical, cultural rights issue. We have women unit focusing on legal education for women and providing legal aid and legal advice. We have branches in Khan Yunis area, in Jabalia and in Ramallah. We are working there for the last 20 years. We are working both agenda, the Palestinian agenda as if the occupation doesn't exist, and we are working on the Israeli agenda as if the PA doesn't exist. And we are very reconciled. Should nobody be happy of us, because our mission or mission speak truth to power, not to be politically correct, and to be bind absolutely for the rule of law. We believe our role vital, important, needed, because we believe what brought this entire chaos to that part of the world and the failure of the peace process is the absentee of respect of international law, international humanitarian law, or the rule of law by definition.